John's doing a Star Wars video. You betcha I'm going to be doing a Star Wars video because there is a brand new movie that's going to be coming out in 2026 and I'm looking forward to it. Mostly because, kind of like what happened in 2023 with Marvel's implosion, I want entertainment in general to just be better, okay? I would like to have the same type of hype that was around the original Star Wars trilogy out there, even if I'm not going to imbibe in it, even if it's not entirely my thing, just to have something for people to look forward to in entertainment instead of having to wade through the ideological preaching that permeates everything in media right now, with a few slight exceptions. I would just like entertainment to be great again. Is it that much of an ask? Well, clearly we're still in the thick of it, but you can kind of see, just off in the horizon, you can see a little bit of hope, a new hope, if you will. But unfortunately, the Empire's got to strike back, an obligatory Return of the Jedi reference. But we're going to be talking about this Rey Palpatine, Skywalker, whatever she identifies as on the day. Brand new movie that's going to be out there. The only thing that I'm really concerned about, because a lot of people are talking, okay, what the hell is this movie even going to be about? Okay, what's the title of it going to be? I wonder if they have the balls to cap everything off when it comes to a proper Star Wars film. Are they going to have the audacity to call this Star Wars Episode 10? That's the only thing that I'm wondering. I pray that they do, because we know that Disney, a couple of years from now, is really going to be in dire straits, and they're going to need all the help that they can get. And given the fact that there is very few ideas and people attached to this film outside of Daisy Ridley reprising her role as the franchise-killing Rey, and the director, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who is that? Exactly. The rest of the industry is also asking that question. But no. She's a very successful documentary filmmaker. And what kind of documentaries has she done before? Oh, feminist ones. Oh, fantastic. That definitely qualifies her for, let me just check again. Oh, a proper Star Wars movie. Fantastic. Well, what can you expect from this? Well, there was a clip, and I guess she was interviewed for New Year's Eve by CNN. Why? Okay, Pakistan counts down to 2024. Okay, yeah, she's half Pakistani, half Canadian, or at least that's the way that she identifies. I would imagine she's probably in Canada, so okay, you couldn't find anybody that's, I don't know, a little bit more appropriate for, checking in with New Year in Pakistan, but I'm glad you did, because it definitely provided a very good clip, but we'll run this down here real quick, all right?
Our next guest is an inspiration to women all over the world, including her home country of Pakistan. Filmmaker and activist Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is the only female director to have won 2 Academy Awards by the age of 37. She's also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film.
See, that's far more important than getting the writing, the acting, the plot, the characters. That's far more important than anything. She is the first woman of color. That's what's so important about this. First woman of color underneath. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's go.
It's set to be released in 2026. You can say that the force is strong with this one.
Oh.
Here's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
Oh, because the force is female. I don't like CNN's video player because the watermarks stay up for way too long, and I gotta press right there in order to pause. But all right, cool. Well, let's hear what this director has to say. She's the first person. Oh no, okay, so she's simultaneously the first woman and the first person of color. Like, can't we just go ahead and shorten that by just saying that she's the first woman of color to firsthand fuck up Star Wars? Anyways, duh.
I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special.
Oh, yes, of course. Look at all of these people that are up there that definitely haven't killed any sort of hype. I don't know why Rishi Sunak is there. Why is he there? Oh, no, that's not Rishi Sunak. Sorry, that's the other one. Sadiq Khan, mayor of London, with a bunch of bitches. Kathleen Kennedy, her at the end. Ugh. Whatever's remaining of Jon Favreau's integrity, Ahsoka Simp #1, Dave Filoni, and, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, who's going to be releasing the next bit of Star Wars content in the form of the Acolyte, which is going to be all female-centric, so strap in. We haven't even gotten to the good quote quite yet.
And we're in 2024 now.
Yes,
and
we are.
I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
It's so funny. So, look at what they paused. Look what they panned across. Okay. It's about time we have a woman. That's Kathleen Kennedy, by the way, for those of you who are not initiated. She's been in charge of Lucasfilm ever since the Disney acquisition back in 2014. It's about time that we finally have a woman in charge of Star Wars, because she's done such a good fucking job in the time that she's been in power. What the fuck are we doing? Holy shit. Director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy on the upcoming new Jedi Order movie. Yeah, that's apparently what it's supposed to be about. Rey Skywalker, not Luke Skywalker, reassembling the Jedi Order in the aftermath of the fall of the Empire. No. You're going to give it to Rey because she's already been gifted everything else in the Star Wars franchise. Why not just gift her the storyline that everybody was hoping that Luke would get? No, that totally makes sense. He already stole everything else about him anyways, including his last fucking name. So this all fits. I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel what we're about to create is something very special, and we're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away. You have a main character that's a woman. You have the studio runner, who's a woman. You have your television show, your flagship television show, now centered around a woman, Katan with, The Mandalorian. Your entire original marketing blitz for Star Wars was the Force is female, but now, finally, a decade into the Disney Lucasfilm regime, now we can finally have a woman come forward and shape the story. Are you that dim? Clearly, Star Wars director says it's time for a woman to shape a film franchise. 45-year-old Pakistani-Canadian filmmaker made her name as an Oscar-winning documentarian before going on to direct 2 episodes of the Marvel series Ms. Marvel. Yes, the lowest rated Marvel Disney Plus streaming series. She gets a $300 million Star Wars budget, or a $300 million Star Wars movie. This thing, I understand that we're more than 2 years out from this one. Okay, I wouldn't at all be surprised if this wasn't the Christmas release for 2026, meaning that there's going to be 7 years between Star Wars theatrical releases, the most successful prior to the, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and at least by reputation, the most successful cinematic franchise ever. 7 years between releases. I understand that the gap between the sequels and the OT and the prequels was longer than that, and so was the prequels between the sequels. But when you had a project pipeline, when everything was first coming out right after TFA, you were going to be doing one video per year. And it's going to be 7 years. Oh, but don't worry, guys, because after the Rey movie, then Dave Filoni is going to get all of his action figures together and put it on screen with the whole Mandoverse movie that's going to solve all the problems that he created for himself. Can't wait. Her Star Wars movie, which has been written by Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight and is rumored to be titled Star Wars A New Beginning or Star Wars Jedi New Order. Set to begin filming this year. I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel we're about to create something very special. Obaid-Chinoy told CNN during their coverage of New Year's celebrations around the world in 2024. Yes, we've already been over this. The film was first announced last April. It was confirmed that Daisy Ridley, because Disney and Lucasfilm really had to connect with Daisy Ridley in order to see if her schedule was empty in order to film this. Outside of Star Wars, she's had a couple of films released. None of them have been critically, commercially, well received by the audience. Her most recent one couldn't even break $1 million at the box office, but yeah, they're just going to hand her a big old blank check to come back and prize her role of her as easily the most forgettable main character in all of Star Wars cinematic history. Like, it's not even close. Even with some of the ancillary characters of the prequels or the OT, nobody talks about Rey. The sequel trilogy has zero cultural impact. Nobody talks about it anymore. He talked about how bad The Rise of Skywalker was, how divisive The Last Jedi was, and how much of a ripoff of New Hope TFA was. That was the way that it was introduced to me. Back when I remember where I was working, one of the guys I was working with went and seen it. It's like, have you seen a new Star Wars movie? It's like, nah, not really my jam. And it's like, well, what's it about? And it's like, oh, you're basically all the plot points. It was a lot like, the first Star Wars movie. And in the convening years, catching up on my gaps in knowledge, listening to a whole host of reviews, I can reliably confirm it's 1000% a ripoff of A New Hope. I know, not breaking any new grounds. A lot of people have been talking about it for a very long time. But now that we have movement on something that we're going to be talking about for a very, very long time, talking about the grander conversation around this story for the next couple of years, I can see this right here being a Marvel's level disaster for Star Wars. If it wasn't bad enough, if the writing wasn't firmly on the wall with Indiana Jones plopping out in theaters last year with $350 million, wait until they have a mainline Star Wars movie come out into theaters to thunderous ambivalence. Nobody's going to turn up to this stuff. Nobody likes the character of Rey. People that do like the character of Rey just do it in spite of everybody else's sheer apathy. I hope that they spend more money on this project than everything that they do up until its release. I hope that they make this the most expensive film in history. State of the art everything. Because if it's written and directed like the sequel trilogy was, every other film under the Disney umbrella, it will flop so spectacularly. You'll be able to hear it star systems away. I'm looking forward to it because whenever I talk about entertainment like this, I just always want to hurry up and get to the end point. I want media to be fantastic. I want entertainment to be back to the levels where you have legendary films coming out every year. It's been a long time since there has been something of the caliber of The Godfather, of Apocalypse Now, of Goodfellas, of Gladiator, of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like what, in the past 10 years is going to stand the test of time 10 years from now? Not very much. I'm sure there's some indie films that are out there, and you can probably argue that, the Avengers was really big, but is anybody going to look at that team up the same way that they do Seven Samurai or The Magnificent Seven? No. Are there any memorable characters that are created like the Man with No Name from the Sergio Leone trilogy with Clint Eastwood? No, not really. And if they are, they're few and far between. For the sake of the people that like that type of escapism, I really hope that this right here will be the final nail in that coffin, because 2026 is a long time away, and if we have anything close to a repeat in what we had with 2023, the world is going to be a vastly different place by then. And will there even be an audience? Will there even be screens for this to be showed? Me personally, I really do hope so, because I want to see Disney, I want to see Lucasfilm go down in flames so somebody else has the opportunity to buy it up and do something better with it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.